Hi, I'm Dr. Emily Bennett, naturopathic doctor. Today I want to talk to you about habits. Habits are something I've been deeply fascinated by for a while. For the last few months, I've been really going, as far into the research as I can to figure out how we form habits, how we can make it easier to form new habits, and, what are the things that hold us back when we're trying to get new things in motion. The reason I'm sort of into this is because I'm really driven in my practice to help people dealing with chronic health issues. And a lot of the time, at some point, it involves kind of doing an assessment of your lifestyle and potentially changing things in a way that's gonna serve you for the long run with your symptoms and managing whatever the health condition is that you're dealing with. In my case, I work with a lot of folks who have PCOS and PMDD, and both of these conditions can be really strongly helped by changes in lifestyle. So I'm really into the habits thing, and I want to be able to help people with more ease and understand better how to support somebody when they're trying to do something new that feels hard at first. So what I wanted to talk to you about, like I said, is why you should change your habits. When I first started talking about this to the folks that follow me on Instagram, I got some messages around, why focus my energy on this when right now what I'm trying to do is choose joy, do things that make me happy, and not always feel like I'm required to do these other things that bog me down. And it was really interesting for me because what it drew attention to is that, a lot of us maybe don't have an idea of what we're talking about when we're talking about habits. I know that I didn't when I started kind of getting into this stuff. So what is a habit? Habit is something that you are doing automatically. You are doing it without thinking about it. And I know that when most people think of habits, the first thing that comes to mind are ones that we identify as a good habit or a bad habit. So, running 5 days a week is a good habit and smoking is a bad habit. But there are other more nuanced ways that we can think about habit and notice ways that we are doing things out of habit, so automatically. So when you're doing something out of habit, you've kind of released the top-down control. You've released the executive control that comes from your brain and helps you decide to do something. So going back to this idea of choosing joy, when you choose to do something because you know it's going to bring you pleasure, you've really brought your brain into the picture here. You've decided, I'm not going to worry about going to bed late tonight because I really want to go to this movie with my friend at 10 p.m. So I'm choosing joy over what I perceive or other people might perceive as a good idea, which is going to bed early. And that is awesome. And you should do that whenever you can. But a lot of the time, what we're doing is happening in this habitual way automatically without our brain getting involved. And so it can be hard to even identify what things you're doing out of habit. When I started thinking about this stuff, I had a terribly hard time thinking about what my habits even were. But I found a few things that made it easier, and I want to talk to you a little bit about that. So why change your habits? Because if you notice that you have a habit that overall is not serving your sense of well-being, it's maybe leading to downstream effects that you don't like. Going back to that, that example where you're choosing joy, if your habit is to stay up every night binging on TV shows until 1 a.m. and then you go to bed at 1 and you have to get up at 6 because that's when your kid gets up, then, maybe you feel super tired during the day. Maybe it leads you to drinking so much coffee that then you start feeling kind of anxious and jittery in the afternoon, or you're not able to do the things you'd like to do on your lunch break, even though you have enough time to do it because you're just so tired. There are downstream effects that you can identify from this habit that you're doing automatically. And so that's a reason you might want to identify what you're doing out of habit, because if you change that habit, you might free up space in your life to do the things that you really want to do, the things that would fulfill you and make you feel like you're living your best life. It might free up space to be creative, to learn something new, to spend intimate time with your partner, to just have fun with your friends, to socialize. we can, so I think this idea of freeing up space by assessing your habits and then working to improve them so that they overall serve you more is what makes the idea of changing your habits appealing. So if this is something that you want to kind of consider doing and you're having trouble even imagining what you would change, what I would recommend is thinking about your evening to start. So in the evening, most of us are exhausted from our day. Maybe we've been working all day, maybe we've been taking care of our kids, but a lot of us engage in habitual behavior when we are tired. Not a lot of us, that's how it works. When we are more tired, we're more likely to engage in habitual or automatic behavior because our brain is just like, I'm out, like I need a rest, and you do the things that you need to do in order to get what you need. So an example of this, again using TV, why not, would be when you come home from work, maybe the first thing you do is flop down on your couch and turn your TV on and then watch TV for a couple hours. And you do that because you are pooped, and that is a way that you can relax, and you're not even thinking about it. That's just what you do. That's your habit pretty much every day. That's what you do. So that's a good place to start. Look at your evenings. What are you usually doing in that time? When you think about something that you wish you had time to do, like you learned to knit a long time ago and you really want to try and knit a sweater, but you just can't find the time to do it. Or you'd really like to take a pottery class, but like when on earth are you supposed to find the time to do it? You might find that you engage in behaviors in the evening that like you don't even really like. It's not like in that moment of watching 2 hours of random TV that you are, you are being fulfilled by that. There are times where you are going to be fulfilled by that for sure. There's nothing wrong with watching a bunch of TV. But if you're doing it out of habit, you do it every day. You come home, you flop down on your couch, you turn on the TV. There might be other things that you are unable to do because you immediately engage in this habit without thinking about it. And by the time you look at the clock, oh my God, it's 7:30. I haven't made dinner yet. What am I going to have for dinner? I'm just going to order some food, or I'm just going to eat like this whatever frozen thing I have. And that becomes what you do every day. So if you had this desire to maybe like learn a new cooking skill, or maybe you were trying to get in the habit of not letting any food go to waste in your fridge, but you just can't seem to figure that out, looking back on your evening habits to see, what prevents you from starting to cook a meal, or what prevents you from eating that food in your fridge in the first place. Is it maybe that like you're already super hungry by the time you start thinking about dinner because you've been in the zone watching TV for a couple hours? I hope that's clear. I think that there's a lot to work with there with respect to understanding how, when you change your habits, it doesn't mean that you're becoming strict about something necessarily that is healthy. The habit that you might choose to change might be in the opposite direction of what generally people consider to be healthy. Maybe your habit is to go get into bed at 8:30 p.m. because that's what you started doing when you had a newborn and they got up at 5:30 every day, and so you still are just doing that. And because you do that, you never go out with your friends. And if you get invited to something, you think automatically, well, like that's starting at 8, I usually go to bed at 8:30, whatever. It's hard to imagine that would be the case, but let's just say it is the case. You might go in the opposite direction of like trying to create a new habit of going to bed later and figuring out how to make that happen. This is still an idea in progress for me, but I want you to think about your habits. I want you to understand that these are the things you're doing automatically. They don't have to do with choices, and you are doing things automatically. And it might not be clear to you right now what those things are. So think about it a little bit. Think about, is there something that you wish you could do that you're having trouble make happen right now? Think about when you would possibly do that if you were going to try this new thing that you want to do. And what are you doing in that time right now? Is there anything there that you're doing just out of habit that is not really bringing you joy or is not necessary, that could be modified in some way? Let me know what you think and get back to me. I'm super into this habit stuff. Subscribe to my channel from the bottom. Nope. there's a button over here, or there's a button over there. I can't remember. I've got some free resources in the description down below around habits. So download them if you want to learn more, and leave me a comment if you have an idea for me to make another video on this topic, or if you just have something to say about habits in general. Alrighty, have a good day.